Hi everyone, I'm Jillian. This is my daughter Emma, and she has acute intermittent porphyria. This here is King George III. He was also known as Mad King George, and I'm not sure if any of you have watched the movie Mad King George. I myself have not, but he was thought to have had porphyria, which caused his madness. Did you know that almost all myths originate with some truth? Now, the vampire myth was thought to have originated with somebody with porphyria. Now, people with porphyria tend to have receding gums, which can cause their teeth to look like fangs. Also, there's a certain kind of porphyria, cutaneous porphyria, which they cannot go into the sunlight. So just like vampires, if they go into the sunlight, then their skin kind of burns. So they either have to wait till nighttime to go out, or they have to completely cover up and wear sunglasses to protect their eyes and stuff like that. Also, the fear of garlic actually is a real thing. Maybe not a fear, but they stay away from garlic because garlic tends to be high in sulfur, and sulfur tends to cause a porphyria attack. So they tend to not eat things like garlic. So the combination of those things kind of caused the vampire myth, and that's where that came from. Now, porphyria is a rare disease. The NIDDK says that fewer than 200,000 people in the US have porphyria. Now that includes all the different kinds. There's actually two different groups of porphyria: cutaneous porphyria and hepatic porphyria. The cutaneous porphyria is the skin kind that we just talked about with the vampires, and the hepatic has to do with the liver. So it's actually the enzyme that breaks the porphyrins down in the liver. Now there's almost like subsections of porphyria. So some of those other kinds under those two kinds are acute intermittent porphyria, variegate porphyria, and hereditary proporphyria. These are kind of hard to say, but the one we're really going to be focusing on is acute intermittent porphyria, because that's the one that I'm most familiar with, because my daughter Emma has that one. Now, some of the symptoms of porphyria, I'm actually going to read the list off because it's quite extensive. Now, you probably wouldn't have all of those symptoms if you had porphyria, and every time it may be different. Like one time you may get one, another time you may get one or two, and it could be different each time. So according to the Mayo Clinic, these are some of the symptoms: severe abdominal pain, pain in your chest, legs, or back, constipation or diarrhea, nausea, vomiting, muscle pain, tingling, numbness, weakness or paralysis, red or brown urine, mental changes, and that's where the whole King George III came in. He had mental changes, confusion, hallucinations. There could be anxiety, disorientation or paranoia, breathing problems, urination problems, rapid or irregular heartbeats, high blood pressure, or seizures. And the thing is, this is part of the reason why it makes it so difficult to diagnose. This is, one, it's a rare disease, and two, the list of symptoms is so extensive that you go in for, let's say, mental changes and paranoia, they may call for a psychiatric consult and say that you have mental issues where you really have a rare disease. Also, let's say you went in with a cardiac issue one time and they send you to a cardiologist. So, and rare diseases are not always considered, and they just kind of look at the symptoms. So it's kind of a hard thing to diagnose. What causes porphyria? It's a genetic mutation, and it's caused by a PBGD enzyme deficiency. Now, that enzyme breaks down the porphyrins in the liver, and the deficiency is actually caused by mutation in the HMBS gene. Now, that's usually a hereditary thing. So it's passed down from your parents, either your mother or your father. With my daughter, it was found to be de novo, so something that the gene mutated on its own while she was still in utero. So, but most times it's something genetic. So it's actually the HMBS gene is actually on the 11th chromosome, for those who know a lot about genetics and stuff like that. Now, what helps when you're in an attack? A lot of people deal with severe abdominal pain. That's probably the most common, biggest thing. And according to the American Porphyria Foundation, they say to maintain a high carbohydrate diet. Now, my daughter does not like carbs, like the regular carbs, like pasta, breads, and stuff like that. She does like candy, and she likes fruits and things of that sort. So she tends to eat a lot of those, and those really do help. Even after, like, she'll get some foot pain, which usually signals like she's been in the heat too long, and that can sometimes trigger her. And she'll go inside, she'll get out of the sun, she'll eat some candy, and she'll usually feel a lot better. So there's also another thing called heme, and not all hospitals do it, but you can get heme infusion, which helps break down the porphyrins. And some people get it routinely, like they'll go in, like, I'm not sure exactly how often, but they will go in for a heme infusion. Now, like I said, there's lots of different kinds. The hepatic ones affecting the liver, and the cutaneous ones affecting the skin. I'm assuming you can have both. I haven't really, I mean, the porphyria, the people who have porphyria, the group is very small, and I really haven't heard of anybody having both the hepatic and cutaneous, but I'm sure you can. And like I said, the high carb diet and the infusions help, and all the big list of symptoms is probably the biggest issue with diagnosis and stuff like that. The other issue, in conclusion, the other issue is that doctors are taught in medical school, if you hear hooves, think horses, not zebras. So you have somebody that comes into your office and they have mental confusion. So you're going to think, okay, this person needs a psych evaluation or something like that. The first thing you think of, or are taught to think of as a doctor in medical school, is that, and I myself have not been to medical school, it's just something I've heard through other parents of children with rare diseases, is that they're taught, okay, so you think of the most common things, and rare diseases are not the first thing you think of, and sometimes they're not the last thing you think of. Somebody comes into your office and they say, I think I have porphyria, and the doctor either says, I have no idea what that is, or like, no, do you know how rare that is? Like, that's so extremely rare. I highly doubt that you have that. So so many people are either misdiagnosed or not diagnosed altogether, and I would like to see more awareness for doctors, or more rare diseases in medical school taught, so that they can diagnose, or at least think, I wonder if, you know, this could be a possibility. And that's all. Thank you, everyone.